We live? I think we're live.
I think. Now, if you guys can see us and hear us and are excited,
Enter 1. Enter 1 if you guys can see us and hear us, or 2 if you cannot. Hopefully you can hear us and see us.
We're live. I think
we're
so.
good. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow, I just got
I know.
It all just popped up at one time. Okay, perfect. So you guys can hear us.
Up.
Perfect.
Let's see who's in the chat. Let's see. I see Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
I see Ryan, one of my mods. What's up, Ryan?
Ooh, look at you all modded up. Cam, of course I remember you. I remember you.
My other mod, Justina.
Hey. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi, Justina.
Let's see. Mike, what's up, guys?
Oh, the president is here. Look at you. You came out of hibernation just for me.
The president herself.
We already know she came for Disney Daily.
Oh.
She came for you. She didn't come for me because she's been missing. Missing my streams. I've been missing you so much. I've been missing you just so much. Oh my goodness, Cam, you're asking me so many questions right now. All these ride questions. That's a true statement. Wow. You keep me humble. I love it. And hello, George. Hello, handsome man, George. My mod who tells me to stay hydrated at all times.
Hi from Panama. Wow. Hello.
Oh
welcome.
My goodness. What time is it?
Hi, Jill.
Oh, Chili Bean is here. And Michael Disney Lover. Hi, good to see you too. Hi, Michael. How are you? I hope you are doing well. I'm so happy to see each and every one of you in this stream. I feel like I have to mute myself on this other stream because I have to see some of your comments. Or like.
Hi, Camila. I'm glad to hear that you're excited. We're excited too.
We are super duper excited. We have so many faces in the chat. And if you guys didn't know, this is Disney Daily and she has an amazing channel. So make sure you guys are subscribing to her channel because next week's episode is going to be on her channel. I'm trying to let you guys, a few more of you guys get in because I'm seeing a lot of hellos. The Cow Texans, hello. I see you got your power back. I'm so happy that you did because I was so worried about you because you guys, if you didn't know, Disney Daily, they had like a huge storm in Texas, a snowstorm.
Right now?
I think it was yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Because the Cow Texan sent me a message like, I'm sorry I missed the stream. We didn't have power. And I was like, wait, the snowstorm was that bad?
Well, I hope you guys are okay. Staying safe.
I was so worried about you guys. And hello, Paris. Hello, Callum and Richard.
Hi, George.
But welcome, guys. Nope, no power. 38 in the house and snow starting to fall. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. Still no power. I heard you guys normally don't get that much snow in Texas. But let me not ramble on. Because
let's get to the good stuff.
Yes, we have to get to the juicy stuff. And today's episode is getting to know both me and Disney Daily. And this is our introduction episode. And you guys are going to learn quite a bit about us. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun learning about us. All the cool things that we have done in life. What was I going to love those frozen windmill power there? Anyways, I don't even know why I read BB's comment. So we're going to get started. So as you guys know, this is Disney Daily, and we are going to allow her to get, talk about herself and all that good stuff. But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about why we started the podcast. So this is episode 1. and this episode is all about our introductions. So we're going to tell you some things about ourselves. So, like the facts, our favorite parks, our favorite rides, why we started our YouTube channels, how old our YouTube channels are, and those things like that. Towards the end, we are going to allow you guys to ask questions. We both posted polls on our Instagrams for each and every one of you to give your assumptions about life as a cast member. So I got quite a bit of assumptions that you guys thought about. And I'm going to allow you guys at the end for the people who don't have Instagram. I know everyone does not have Instagram or Facebook. Some people are just strictly YouTube. So we'll allow some of you guys at the end to answer or ask those questions, and we will answer them for you. So first, we're going to start off with Disney Daily. Because you guys, if you watch my streams, you know quite a bit about me. But Disney Daily, tell each and every one of the Sunrays about yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. So a lot of you guys are probably familiar with me because I hop in on Serena's live streams a lot. But yeah, my name is Disney Daily, and I'm going to give you my age, probably the first time ever I'm going to give an age, but I am 28 years old and I'm born and raised in Southern California. So my home park is the Disneyland Resort. I started YouTube March of 2020. So right when lockdown happened, I started my YouTube channel. It was something I had been thinking about for a very long time. I love Disney. I was afraid to take the leap and start a YouTube channel, but I really had nothing else going on, probably like a lot of others. And so I decided, let's make a YouTube channel. And really, the real reason why I did it was because so many of us weren't really able to access Disney, you know, wherever you live around the world. And if you are close near a park, or even if you were going to travel to a park for a vacation, you know, you weren't allowed to. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to bring Disney to the comfort of everyone's homes by talking about theories, different characters, fan fictions, just sharing my love of Disney with everyone. So that's the reason why I started my YouTube channel. So I'm going to kind of get into a little bit of fun, like Disney favorites of mine, and then I'm going to pass it over to Serena Ray. So my favorite movie is Toy Story 2, hands down. My favorite food inside the Disneyland park is a churro. I know it's super simple, but it's like such an easy go-to, and I love it. My favorite Disney princess is Belle, followed closely by Pocahontas. She's right there, but Belle is definitely my favorite. I look to Belle throughout my whole life to kind of embody her as I go through life and make decisions that she would make. And I know for some people that might sound strange, but I know a lot of other people on here can really relate to that there's a character that they look up to and they try to embody in their everyday life. Another really good question was my favorite ride. So my favorite ride is actually Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like a go-to for me. When I was really, really young, I I had a really big imagination, and not that that stopped, but I used to think I was a pirate. So I would go on the ride and be like, shimmer me timbers. And then I'd get off, and then not even kidding. And I had like a pirate necklace that I wore around my neck. And I was like, oh, the pirates are going to come and they're going to come and get me one day because they know I'm a pirate. Super weird. Just to let you, that's just letting you into Disney Daily's mind. And one last thing that I kind of want to talk about that I think is always fun is which Disney character do I think I'm most like? And I definitely am a little bit of Woody and Elsa like mixed together. Woody, I always love to tell this story because Woody in the first Toy Story gets such a bad like association with him because he seems so jealous, right? And he's like doing all these evil things to get Buzz Lightyear out of the picture. And I understand where Woody was coming from because I'm the oldest child and my little brother is 3 years younger. So when he came along, I felt like Woody because I was like, my parents don't care about me anymore. I'm not getting attention like I used to. So I felt very much like Woody. And so I've always kind of been drawn to that character. And Elsa is one of those characters that I also feel like I'm just drawn to her. She's not necessarily my favorite, but a lot of the things Elsa goes through in terms of kind of just feeling like an outcast, and not feeling like anyone really understands her. I felt like that a lot when I was younger. I never quite understood my place. I definitely had my fair share of bullying. So I saw that struggle in Elsa, and I was like, wow, I know exactly how that feels to not really feel like you belong and there's not anybody you can really turn to. So yeah, so not to put it on a like, a sad note, but it's just kind of opening up and showing you guys, my heart that I've definitely had my fair share of things happen to me in my life. And so that's what I feel like makes us so relatable, is we come here because Disney is an outlet for us. And yeah, so I'm going to pass it over to my co-host so she can tell you guys about herself.
Yes, I'm going to start telling you guys about myself. But you know what's funny? You say your favorite snack was a churro.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tried one recently.
Like for the first time? What? What?
Look, okay. Yes. Okay. Look, I wanted to go to Disneyland and try the churro first. And everyone like peer pressured me recently. And they were like, wait, you never, ever?
Yeah, you got to have a churro. What? Okay. How many of you in the chat have had a churro? Leave a 1 if you have, and leave a 2 if you haven't had a churro from Disneyland. I really got to know, like, are there that many people out there that have not had a Disney churro? Because you're missing out in life.
Look, it's okay if you have it. It's judgment-free zone here, okay? If
no judgment-free zone, but I want to know, have you had a churro or not? It's a big question today. It's the hot button issue.
Because a lot of times, okay, Dole Whip, I feel like the OG Dole Whip was my first time last year too.
Okay, wait, we have some twos. Shadow.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you. Thank you for the twos.
George says he hasn't.
Thank you, handsome man George. Jane said, why are you lying? Look.
Princess K said no either.
Never had a churro. So, okay, that's a fact about me. We'll start off with I've never had a churro until recently. On stream, you guys have done a lot of firsts with me, but I started my channel, I want to say June, whenever Universal first reopened. That was my first video on YouTube. Oh, wow. It was the reopening video. Of course, I was not on brand when I was at Universal because I was wearing a Disney mask. But it was a really cute mask. It had Tinkerbell. But that was my very first video on YouTube. So very soon, my 1 year will be coming up as well. So we both have like newborn channels.
1 year anniversary is coming up. Yeah.
I know. Disney Dailies, yours is coming up like around the corner. Like,
yeah, March 23rd is which is really cool. Also, you guys, just to like put it in there really quick, we have a really special guest, like really important special guest coming the exact day of my 1 year anniversary, which has just happened to line up that way. So it's super cool.
I was so happy it lined up that way too. I really was. Because when you were like, wait, my 1 year anniversary for YouTube is coming up, I was like, and it's on a podcast day.
Yeah.
You guys know how excited I get for celebrating. So I'm going to be super excited. It's going to be on Disney Daily's channel. But back to facts about Serena. So my channel is very, very new. I'll talk more about myself. So one fact about me, my favorite movie is Zootopia. I am extremely obsessed with Judy Hopps as a character. I feel like I am Judy Hopps and she's me. When she comes out in Magic Kingdom, that's the only character, like, other than Minnie Mouse, that I just get so excited to see. Like, other characters, I'm like, oh, they're cute. Yay. I've taken pictures of princesses, but the best experience has been with Judy Hopps. I put it in a frame. I went to the Christmas party just for her. I will like stand in line for hours on end to meet Judy Hopps. Another thing about me, Serena loves Disney headbands. It's a terrible obsession. I'm going to say I have, let's go with 45. We'll say 45. 45 is a safe number. But I honestly think I have more than that. And it's a little sad when you think about it, because I'm like, how much money have I spent on a pair of ears? I don't even want to count, but I have so many ears. And if I like a pair of ears, I'm not gonna lie, I buy duplicates, because wonder if they break and then I can never wear it again. I'm one of those people who will buy like 8 shirts because I love how this shirt feels, just in case. Like, wonder if it rips. Like, you never know.
You never know.
So I'm one of those people. Another thing I would say about me, my favorite princess is gonna surprise you because I know you see our thumbnail. Disney Daily is Belle and I'm Tiana. But when growing up, my favorite princess was Mulan. Like, people argue with me and say, like, Mulan technically wasn't a princess. But I'm like, Mulan is in the princess category. You guys can chill out. But she was my favorite. I would always watch Mulan and Pocahontas. So Pocahontas and Mulan, like, Pocahontas was behind Mulan. Because I felt like Mulan was everything I wanted to be, because I was so quiet. And I was quiet to the point where they thought I was mute, because I would not talk. I found no reason to talk, because I mean, everyone did stuff for me. So they would say like, "Oh, here's dinner." And I'll say, "Okay." And then they're like, "You got to have conversations. You got to do this." And I was just like the person who didn't like conversations. I was just very to myself and a loner. But growing up and seeing like more characters who were just like so confident out there, and I just was like, if I could be anyone, I want to be Mulan. So I think those are my 3 facts. I'm going to keep it short and
I want to
sweet.
stick something in there just so you guys can be involved. Put your favorite Disney princess in the chat. Favorite Disney princess.
Yes.
And I'll be looking at it as Serena talks.
Yes. Put your favorite Disney princess in the chat. It's okay. Disney has 84 million different designs of ears. Thank you, BB. My obsession is like, I feel better about it now. And I will finish off with saying, I think that's it. We're going to keep it short and sweet with me.
Okay.
I think those are good facts. Disney
those are solid.
Like, she, wham, you know, bam, bam, bam out.
Mulan, we have Pocahontas. I think Mulan and Pocahontas are underrated. I totally agree. Both are so underrated. Rapunzel, Belle, Aurora. Wow, I never really see Aurora as one of the favorites, so that's cool.
I've never seen her either.
Esmeralda isn't a princess, but she's my favorite. She was my favorite too growing up, actually. Very much. I dressed up like her. I was Esmeralda.
I'm loving the Mulans in the chat because I never hear anyone say Mulan.
Yeah, Princess Leia, Mulan or Jasmine. Yeah.
I'm liking everyone's selections. Oh my goodness.
I'm sad to see there's not more Belle, but that's okay.
You got a Belle though.
Jane Porter. I know. Mike and I were. Oh, and Ryan
Jane
said
from
Mulan
Tarzan?
and Belle.
Yeah, you got some Bells.
Yeah.
You really do. It's not bad. You know what? I thought I was going to see a whole bunch of Cinderellas.
Cinderella? Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, everyone always like goes goo goo gaga over Cinderella. At least when I talk to them, they go like crazy over Cinderella or Snow White. Which I'm like,
I'll give my opinions in another episode.
Yeah, we'll do it in a princess episode because
we have a princess episode, down the line, guys. So
yeah, it's very controversial.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
And I'm like, yes, Lisa, please tell us your favorite princess as well. I want to hear it. Oh, Belle is in my top 3. You guys have some good princesses. I'm very surprised, but I'm not surprised because you guys are watching. Amazing
okay,
people.
So should we get to the nitty-gritty of this podcast?
We should get to the core of it, and that is our life as a cast member.
Yes.
What's cool about both of us I've never been to Disneyland, and Disney Daily has never been to Walt Disney World. So I thought that was cool because we can give our, backgrounds. But then when she told me, like, I did work at Disneyland, and I was like, really? This is going to be a fun conversation because, yes, both the parks are like with a Walt Disney company, but it's still different experiences because it's different places, different coasts. So we are going to talk about our life as a cast member. So we both had different roles at the company.
Very, very different departments.
Yes, very different. And I loved hearing about her experience in her department. And she liked hearing about my experience with my department. So do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Sure, I can go first. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So just to back it up. So like I said, there are different departments inside Disneyland. No matter what park, there are different departments. So for those of you who don't know, for instance, there's one for merchandise, there's one for attractions, there's one for entertainment. There's so many branches. So you don't cross over. And I think a lot of people think that you cross over and you see each other from the different departments, but you really don't. And you kind of almost don't really interact a whole lot within your own department because there's so many people employed, at least for me. I would like see somebody one day and I wouldn't see them for another 3 months or so. So just to give you some, there's a lot of people that work at the Disneyland parks. So I worked in entertainment. My story is super funny. And I actually forgot to tell Serena the second part of my story. So you guys are going to hear the second part. But I was a character host. So what that means is I was basically the security for whichever Disney character I was watching at the time. So if you next time at the park, you are visiting a character, look around and see if you can see somebody with ask me about the character's little pin. And that is the character host. So I always said I'm like the security guard for Mickey Mouse. In case anyone tries to attack Mickey or like knock him out, I'm there to make sure that doesn't happen. So this is my story. So this is my story. It is not a regular apply to a job kind of story. I went to a Disney audition. So there's an actual website. I think it's still called DisneyAudition.com. I went on because I wanted to play Belle. That's why I went on in the first place. So I went on DisneyAudition.com and I didn't know the difference between a character lookalike versus just a character, I think it was called. So I went to the character audition. What the character audition meant was that I was trying out for Mickey, Minnie, like anybody who's in a suit, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, all the characters you can think of. That's the audition I showed up for. So I went in and I didn't know. And I was like, I'm at the wrong audition, but I'm here. So I got to try out anyways. So the audition was super funny. So they take down your information. And I think they did like one round of like questions or like, just like, where are you from? And just to kind of get a feel for you. And they kind of make a cut. They kind of keep making cuts as they go. So then the next step was you had to act out something across. Picture like the biggest dance floor you've ever seen. You had to act out something across the floor without any words or anything, right? Because they want to see how you animate. They want to see, can you bring that character to life without being seen? So I remember one of them was like pirate. So I was like going across the floor and I'm like, yeah, without like making noises. And I'm just like shuffling and like pretending like I'm on what do they call that? When walk the plank. So I'm like, acting all of this. I'm like doing like ninja dives all over the floor. And I'm like going all out. Cause I was like, I
would pay to see that.
It was hilarious because everyone is like, and this is the thing is you're doing it 2 at a time. So you're like going up against someone kind of, and you're like trying to outdo each other. And it's like this really intense experience. So anyways, they did like a first round. Some people were cut. Then they did like a second round and people were cut. So I got to the very end and then me and like, I want to say like 4 other people were like pulled outside. And they were like, hey, we really like you guys, but we don't want you to be a character. We want you to be a character host. And we were all kind of like, what's a character host? So anyways, I became a character host and I didn't work for the park that long. I think I worked anywhere from like 6 to 8 months. And this is the part Serena doesn't know. So I actually did a second audition, an in-house audition. So an in-house audition means anybody who already works for the Disneyland park gets to try out, and you don't have to worry about the public really. It's all in between. It's all Disney cast members trying out for a part. So that experience was also really cool. Same thing. It was like one round where you're asked questions. The second round, they take a picture of you, just a headshot. And I'm pretty sure this is the rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, is that they take that picture and they put wigs on you to see if you can play a certain character. Does that make sense? So like they would take a picture of just your head and they might put a blonde wig on me to see like, oh, can she play Aurora? Basically. So that's the rumor. I don't know if that's true, but I could understand how that makes sense. And it's Disney, so makes sense. So I get to the next round, and actually my friend that I was with at the time, she also made it to like the very last, we basically made it to the last round. We were given a script and you had to like memorize that script before going in. And so I was given Mary Poppins. So that was the character that they saw me as, I guess, or they were like, oh, she could be a really good Mary Poppins. So I went in and I read, and I didn't hear anything after, but a lot of us didn't. So it was kind of like, I think they were just keeping us in case anybody started quitting or anything like that. We were already like on the books basically. But yeah. And then I quit not too long after that. I was a student, so I was going to school, and I actually had 2 other jobs at the time. So it was like way too much for me. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it all the way through. But yeah, that is my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to audition, I highly recommend it because it is a really fun experience. And yeah, I'm going to pass it over.
That is so interesting. You know what else I heard, though? I've heard people say that they kind of like try to get people that look alike.
Yeah. Okay. So a big rumor, and I think it's true, is that they try to get girls that look similar to each other so that they don't necessarily look like the princess, but they look like the other girls who are already hired in the park. If that makes sense. So that kind of sucks because, you know, like basically you have to kind of have this look to be able to be considered. I don't know if they still go off of that standard, but that was a very prevalent thing when I was working there. And I worked there, just to give you guys some reference, like back in 2015, 2016.
See, that's like, I've always heard that rumor. And I'm like, is it true? I think it is to a certain extent.
I do too.
I'm trying
thanks, guys.
For that pirate role.
You should. Oh, it was so funny. Like I wish there was like a camera in there and everyone could just be like a fly on the wall, because the audition is hilarious. It is so funny.
Oh my goodness. See, that's interesting. My friend tried to get me to audition with her. I didn't have the courage. I'm not going to hold you up. She was like, please, I want to audition for Sleeping Beauty. And I was like, I'm here for you. But I just can't remember it. I'm like, I'm going to end up freestyling. And I'm like, girl, I'm rooting for you. But
yeah, it's very nerve-wracking. And there's a lot of people. A lot of people show up for this. So
it's very competitive.
It's very competitive.
Extremely competitive.
Yeah.
And that's what's like crazy. Like, I know certain roles at Walt Disney World like is seeked after roles, but I'm like, when you want to be a character, like a face character, that's like competitive. Even if you want to be some of the servers in the higher end restaurants, those are competitive.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that.
Go and be like just a bartender or anything like that, because the higher, the more expensive the place is, the more sought after. So it's like people on a wait list. Like I knew a person who was on the wait list to work, like, I think it was like the Grand Floridian or something like that, or California Grill. It was one of those. They were on a wait list for like a year.
Wow.
Because
that's intense.
You make good money.
Yeah.
And you get to interact with people who stay there. They're willing to spend more money. They tip very generously. So I know some roles are like more sought after than others. My role wasn't, as amazing, but it was magical.
I know all roles are amazing. So
I worked in merchandise. So when I applied, so I'll tell my, application process and all that good stuff. before I applied, I have friends who did like DCP, and I had a friend who, after DCP, they worked there for a little bit before moving back home. And I met them through college, and they were just like, yeah, Serena, like, you just can't just go and work at Disney. Like, you have to like wait a little bit. It's going to take you a while. Don't get your hopes up. Okay. Like, once you move there, like, it's going to take you a minute. So right after college, I was like, I'm going to go get my master's, but I want to work at Walt Disney World. And I was very set on that. And despite what everyone else said, because they were like, my dad literally said, and I love him to death. And he was joking. He really was. And he would always say, like, you're a grown up. You don't want to work at Disney, do you? Like, are you really serious? Like, you can go and do something, you know, with your degree. Like, go be a publicist. Like, go work at one of the automotive companies and be a publicist. And I was like, no, I want to work at Walt Disney World. And he was like, you're not Peter Pan. Go and get a real job.
Like, oh.
I was like, they pay me with real money. He was like, no, they probably just pay you with like, what do you
pixie dust?
Yeah, like he was like, what you want, pixie dust, or you want like candy or something like that? You know, my parents are dramatic, hence why I'm dramatic. But I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go work at Walt Disney World. I'm not gonna listen to them. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun, and it was. So first day I moved here, did everything for school, found an apartment. Second day, I was like, I'm tired of just sitting here. I'm going to go find a job. I'm going to go work at Walt Disney World. And I literally told my dad that. And he was like, okay, you know, like whatever. My mom and dad was like, okay, well, you're there for your master's. You know, don't get your hopes up. People told you it takes a while. So I walked into casting, and I had these new pair of pants. They were like palm trees. And I was like, oh, these are cute. Shows, you know, it's very creative, like out there. Don't know why I wore them. I really don't. At the time, I thought they were super cute. They're okay. Wore them there. The woman told me, just go do an application. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to do an application today, talk to someone, and just go home and wait a month. I wasn't planning on working there as quick as I did. But she had took me to the back, and she was like, come talk to someone. Go talk to this recruiter. And the recruiter sat down, and she started asking me basic questions like, what are you doing here? Are you going to school? You know, all these different things. And I remember telling her, yeah. But then she was like, do you want to work at Magic Kingdom? And I got so excited. I was like, of course, I would love to work at Magic Kingdom. And she also went through the different roles. And I think I applied to like attractions. I applied to like every role. I think I did character. I did all these different ones. And she was like, she looked at my resume. She was like, no, I think you'll be good in merchandise. You know, at first I was like, strike one. You're going to tell me where I want to go. Okay. I go, okay. You know, and then strike two, she was like, do you want to work at Magic Kingdom? And I was like, yes, I do. And then she goes, no, you're not working at Magic Kingdom. And I was like, geez, lady, like, you know, like, don't get my hopes up. So then I was like, okay, so I'm probably not going to get a job anytime soon. So then she's like, oh, I love your pants. So every time like she asked me a question and I would respond yes or like excited, she would say no, but she'll stare at my pants. So after a while, I'm like, she's kind of, you know, I don't know. She started to like weird me out because I'm like, she kept complimenting these pants. And then she was like, I know where you're going to work. And I said, okay, where am I going to work? She was like, you're going to work at Caribbean Beach. And I was like, okay. Mind you, I did not know about the resorts. I've only visited the parks and I stayed off site. Like I've never like went to a resort. The most I knew was like Grand Floridian. I knew about Contemporary, you know, the big ones, the big names, the fancy, expensive ones. So when she said Caribbean Beach, I was like, okay, what is that? And she was like, it's a resort. Because my natural thought was like, oh, it's a beach. So I'm going to be on a beach doing something. I don't know. So she was like, yeah. She was like, usually people talk to me after, you know, but you talk to me early. So someone will give you a call and you'll do like a phone quiz. And they kind of like go over little things and tell you if you get the job or not. The woman, like, I don't even remember what questions the woman asked me when she called me. She asked me like one or two questions and she said, okay, you're going to go to work at Caribbean Beach. Here's your, like, I'm going to email you the schedule and you'll go to traditions. So something you guys probably don't know. Once you get hired, you have like a week or two like of training depending on what role, and you do traditions. So
Mhm.
traditions is a course where they teach you the Disney values, and you learn the four
History.
keys. Yeah, you learn history, you learn the four keys. Now it's five because you have inclusion now. Um, you learn the four keys. They kind of give you like a little tour around Disney University. They take you sometimes to some of the parks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like, we got a tour of Magic Kingdom, and we went backstage and saw those kind of things. So you kind of get more of a feel of where you'll work,
Mhm.
um, possibly. So if you worked at Magic Kingdom, so you get like 2 or 3 days at Disney University, and then you go to your actual work location and get another tour. So you'll tour your work location, and then they'll have like a whole like facilitator and all that good stuff that kind of
Mhm.
breaks down the culture at that area. And they kind of give you guys behind the scenes of like, this is where you'll clock in, this is where your costumes, this is where you park. So it's very, they do a great job with explaining everything for you. They try to explain it as much as possible. And another cool thing, which some of the Sunrays you might not know, my facilitator turned out to be my best friend here in Florida. So Tabby, you guys know Tabitha. She's in my stream sometimes. She was actually my facilitator. So it's always so funny because I told Tabitha when I met her, she's very like, she was quiet, she was very stern. She was very like neat and like serious. Like Tabitha was not like goofy like she was like on the stream. She was just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is this, and this is this, and this is this, this is this. And she always wore her hair in a bun or like a ponytail. And she's like, this is this, this, this. She never wore her hair in a ponytail. Like this is like, you guys see Tabitha like when she's relaxing. Like you don't see her hair out. She would tie her hair up in a bun. So you never knew how long Tabitha's hair is. She's like Rapunzel. And it's so funny because I'm like, you're just so relaxed and you're like Rapunzel outside of work. And then at work, she's like, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. And I always respected her for that because I was like, I'm such a free spirit. But Tabitha sticks strong to what she does. But
Mhm.
once working there, I started Caribbean Beach when it was under construction. So I was able to work at the island markets. So if you guys go to Caribbean Beach, now you're going to see like how it looks after, because they didn't have the Riviera. So when I started working, Riviera was being built, and they actually cut Caribbean Beach down because they took out a large chunk for the Riviera. So that was
Mm.
also a fun fact. So Caribbean Beach was actually a lot larger, but Riviera came and they cut it down. And working there was such an amazing experience for me. I was able to become a coordinator in less than a year. Before I hit my 1 year mark, I was a relief coordinator there at Caribbean Beach. I learned so many things. I was able to do just about like so many different little areas I was learning at the resort. I was learning like little things in front desk area. I was learning things in like food and beverage area. I was learning so many things from the managers. And it was just always so funny to me, um, how much fun I was able to have. And I felt like that was the one job that I actually liked. Other jobs, like you go to work and you're just like, this is for a check. I'm being
Yeah.
asked to you for a paycheck. That's it.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
but there, I that was something I was good at and I liked it.
Yeah.
And I did not mind staying there for hours on end. And as a cast member, like you kind of live at work. And a lot of times people don't understand.
I was just gonna say, I like something that you guys might not know if you never had a cast member in your life or if you've never been one yourself, is that it's a really taxing job and you are really signing up for a lot. For instance, Serena and I were talking about this, how you have to give yourself take this in, you guys. So a lot of us probably when we are about to start work, we get there right, a couple minutes right before, we're like rushing in, whatever. Disneyland, Disney parks, you have to give yourself a solid hour before your start time. Okay, a solid hour, because not
Yes.
only do you have to drive there, right? So you could live anywhere, right? So you have to give yourself driving time. Then you have to park. And parking isn't like, you park in front of your store and you walk inside. There's a whole designated lot that you have to park in, just cast members, so they don't see you, obviously, right? Because everything is, magic. There's you don't see what goes on behind the magic, but
Yeah.
there's magic. Then you have to get on a tram that takes you to the gate of whatever park, right? And then if you haven't gotten your costume for the day, because everybody who works at Disneyland wears a costume. So if you haven't gotten your costume, you have to account for time to go get that costume and change into that costume. And then you still have to account for time to get to whatever part of the park you need to be in. So like if I was working at Disneyland California Adventure and I was hosting, say, Russell from Up in the little designated, I don't even know what they call that now, trail area, I have to give myself time to take the little tram on the back lot to DCA, but then walk to whatever area it was. So, I mean, it's a whole process.
It's stressful
to work at a Disneyland park.
It really is. And you know what's nice though? You guys have a little tram going back and forth. If
you have one in the back.
Yeah, and at some of the theme parks, because I picked up shifts. Oh my God. Animal Kingdom, you gotta walk. Like, you gotta walk all the way.
Also, can I say this really quick? If you've worked at the Disneyland Park, any of them in the chat, if you've worked and been a cast member, put a 1. If you haven't, put a 2. We're just curious.
Yes, if it's any other cast members. But Animal Kingdom, because their cast member parking is like, I think it's right next to the regular parking. You have to walk all the way in the front. And it's stressful, because when you told me you had to leave an hour before, I live like 10 to 15 minutes away, but still I had to leave an hour because you know how many times I had to run into work, like through the parking lot? And when we had construction, we were not allowed to park near the main building. We parked on the other side of if you know how big Caribbean Beach is, we parked across the resort. All the way in, I think it was Jamaica. I'm like, the main building is nowhere near Jamaica. So I have to run from Jamaica across the little mini island bridge, then to the main building and clock in on time, because you will get a point. If you're 1 second over, 1 second over, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you might have a manager who understands, but a lot of times they won't change your time. And you also have to account, because Jill knows it, at Caribbean Beach, we had terrible registers that would freeze. I would be there on time, and then CDS would just freeze. And I'm like, no, don't do this to me. No, please.
I see a lot of 2s in the chat. So that's really cool. So hopefully we shared something that you guys had never known about working at Disneyland.
I'm telling you how. And you had probably like pants, right?
What I wore?
Costume. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there were some nasty khakis. Like, the Progressive commercial?
Yes, I know.
That was khakis. Like,
they still wear them.
Khakis.
They still make those people, the attendants wear those.
Oh, I wore the khakis.
I had the ugliest skirt. It was a tablecloth. Someone literally told me they saw it as a tablecloth in Liberty, in Harbor House. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was ugly. And it was super heavy, because if you got caught in the rain, so already this skirt is like a nice 5 to 10 pounds. Like, it's that heavy. If you put your phone in your pocket, it weighs, like, it just keeps weighing it down. So when you're holding stuff, it was like miserable. Yeah. And then they make you wear a belt that did not connect to the belt. I'm like, our belt didn't even connect to our skirt. So it was just like, it was no point. And I might actually have a picture behind me, because I was able to get the merchant award, something like the quarterly award, and they call it, I think, magical merchant. So I was at one of the quarters. They picked me, but I was in the ugly costume. So I was not too happy, guys. I wasn't too happy to be taking a picture with the general manager and my manager in that costume because I was like, great. This will always be remembered. They put it on a wall and I'm like, I hate this costume. So the costume would be super heavy, but I always had to account for clocking in. So you have to account if you have to take like Disney Daily had to take a tram. I had my feet, so I had to run. And I'm like, you're out of breath, gotta clock in. And depending on what area you are, you have to also scan in. So you can't go backstage without scanning in with your work ID. So if you don't have your work ID, you're kind of like, you know, in trouble because you can't get into anything. So that was also like another problem like you can have if you like changed the pair of pants you wore and it was clipped to your pants. Yeah. It was so many things that can go wrong. So you had to leave an hour ahead of time.
Yeah.
You just had to.
But it's like good also. Like we're not trying to like bag on it necessarily. It's just
no, I loved my job.
It has to like it really holds you accountable and you learn a lot about what's acceptable in a work environment and prepares you for life because I did this when I was like 19, 20, 21, something like that. So, as a young kid, you're like, you are not really quite understanding how serious, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I had a lot of jobs that I like didn't quite take the most seriously.
Yeah, serious.
Exactly. So it taught me though, time management, and for that, I'm thankful. Like everything I've done, I mean, I'm thankful for it, but yeah, discipline. Yeah, somebody just popped up. It says teaches you discipline. It definitely teaches you discipline.
I'm gonna put that on the screen.
Yeah. So
it teaches you so much.
Should we move into our assumptions? I think this is like maybe the most fun part.
Yes, we most definitely need to start talking about some of the assumptions you guys had because I was surprised, but I'm not surprised. With some of like what you guys are saying. And if you were unable to send us a question about our your assumptions, comment in the chat right now. So start putting your assumptions in the chat. And as long as it's not already answered, then we're going to answer it. So start putting it in the chat right now for us, guys.
So that's a great first question. Somebody already has a really great question. It's like, okay.
What assumption did you have though before you worked there?
Oh, an assumption I had?
Yeah.
Oh my. Well, oh, that's such a great question. I'm trying to put myself because I was young, so I'm trying to put myself, back. What is my hair doing? I don't know what is going on, guys. I apologize. I don't know. I don't know what my assumption was back then. I really don't. I don't remember. I think I was just excited to have a job. Like I had other jobs, but I was excited because I also had a friend who worked at Disneyland at the same time, but she worked in a different department. So I was just excited about working at Disney.
I want to know. I wish I remember what my assumptions were.
Yeah. Should we answer some of the chat first since
you want to answer the chat first?
Well, because they're here. So I don't know, we can still do our assumptions here, but they are here. So
let's start with Princess K.
Princess K. Question I have. How's working for the Big Cheese ruined the magic for you? How do you feel, Serena?
I would say no. It did not ruin the magic for me. I would say it gave me a greater appreciation of all the things people go through to make your experience magical. Because I would think about like, now that I'm no longer working there, I like was looking back at some of the comments, like grape sodas that I got. And it was like so many things like I didn't remember or thought would make like an impact on someone. Make a huge impact on someone. You might think, as the cast member, you're like, oh, like someone asked me for a happy birthday button, or like someone said, oh, today's my birthday. And you went, made them a happy birthday button, said happy birthday. Maybe you even went and got them a balloon. That is something that they would remember, and people would just like say, wow, thank you. Like that honestly made my day. And you would never expect something that small, like when they're going to the theme parks and all that good stuff, would have such an impact on someone's day. So I
Yeah.
think that was something where it never ruined the magic for me. I, in my opinion, it pushed me to try to make more magical experiences, and it made me appreciate the people who are working
Yeah.
like myself.
I would answer this very differently. So I at the time, it really made me hate the big cheese. Like I really didn't like it. I was just a lot. It was a lot. I think I had a lot going on in my life at the time. So for me, it made me lose that spark, which is also probably
Yeah.
why I didn't push too hard to stay. But after quitting, I now have, and a couple years later, you know, we get wiser with time.
Yeah.
I've always appreciated the people that work there. That's not to say anything about the people that work there. I mean, Disneyland would not be what it is if it didn't have the people that work there. So, um, but now I enjoy going into the parks instead of being
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, what is going to happen to me today? That's yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say this. I will say this too, because we were in two different areas. So
Mhm.
for me, I know if I worked in a park, I would have got sick of the park.
Mhm.
After picking up shifts, I'm like, I can see why sometimes people would say who worked at the park, they would say, I don't come here after work, because they would look at me and say, why do you come here? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm always at work. I don't get to experience the park. Yes, I work at the same place they work at, but they're always in the park.
Yeah.
So that does not surprise me when you said that, because it's a lot. The park is way different from a
Mhm.
resort. It's
Mhm.
so much more, it's more harder on you. I will
Mhm.
say that, because you can get so many things thrown at you at once. So I really do appreciate I have a special like place in my heart for people who work in the park,
Yeah.
because the park is a whole different, it's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
Like it just is. And you have way longer hours too at the parks. And you have crazier things you have to deal with at the parks, opposed to a resort, which
Yeah.
is more like relax and chill. So that's why I enjoyed it so much, because I was actually
Yeah.
able to build a relationship with guests, because I would have time to talk to them. I would have time to, if they did have a problem in the park, I would just fix it there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's it's
What's the
it's
next?
different though, but I don't blame you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like. I don't want to sound like I'm the Debbie Downer. I'm just being honest. In the moment, I wasn't like it wasn't that magical for me, and it was initially it was, and then it just faded
Yeah.
out. Let's go to the next question. I can be more upbeat on the next one.
Ryan said, "Oh my goodness, should I read this one then?" It's kind of like, okay, it's tied in. Are you allowed to break characters while working, bearing emergencies?
Are you allowed to break character while working?
Yeah,
No, you're really, really not. And a lot, I will say, performers at Disneyland are so great in like when they keep trying to stay. What am I trying to say? Trying to stay in character. I have seen so many of them go through such awkward situations, and they continuously stay in character, no matter they are, and they theme their language, you know. So like if it's Belle and you're talking to Belle, she'll be like, oh, have you read any good books lately? They're so great. Like they know how to throw in like their little whatever it is from their story. But I've seen a lot of them like just get like some weird stuff. Like one time there was like a person who came in and just like farted next to Cinderella, and Cinderella was just like, oh my, bibbity bobbity boo. And like she stayed with it though, and she kind of made it like lighthearted. So everyone, and not there wasn't a ton of people because it was in a
oh my
specific
gosh,
room, but she made it so lighthearted, and like the person wasn't as embarrassed, and it was like it was great. So you are not allowed to break character. You get in trouble if you do things. Like one time I worked with Pinocchio, and do you guys remember what was that song called? I think it was called Cat Daddy. Do you guys
oh,
remember like do the cat daddy, and it was like
Yeah.
this little
Oh
like
yeah,
dance.
that.
So somebody asked Pinocchio to do the cat daddy, and Pinocchio started doing it, and so that individual got pulled out and was like talked to. So as
Yeah.
funny as it may be and like funny to see, it's like that's not what Pinocchio would do. So yeah, I would say they definitely stay in character and they try not to break it as best as they can.
That is so interesting. No, he did not do the cat daddy. Oh
He
my
did.
God.
Oh, Pinocchio did it.
Pinocchio. I would have loved to see it, but no, you can't do that. At the resort, we just had to stay happy.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what. You just got to smile and be happy. The next question is from Tim C. He says, how many hours is a normal shift assumed long shifts?
Oh, that's a great question. From what I remember, it was at least 8 hours a day.
For you guys, yeah.
At least.
Typically, yeah. So full-time people typically got 8.5-hour shifts because, 30 minutes is not paid, so 8-hour shifts. A long shift, the longest shift I ever worked, I did crazy things, guys. I did 16-hour shifts once in a while. And once a month, I would do like a few 12-hour shifts. And really, it's either if we had like something big in merchandise happening, I would come in as a normal like host, and then I would turn into my coordinator. Or towards the end, like before I left, before COVID and all this stuff happened, it was like a few months where I never even had a regular host shift. So I was just purely coordinator.
Yeah.
I was purely coordinator. So I would stay like long hours there. So coordinator stayed 8.5 hours, 30-minute lunch. Well, we had an hour. So we were able to combine our breaks, which was really nice. So we can take an hour break instead of doing a 30 here and a 30 there. But a lot of times as coordinator, you stay longer. So I would work night shifts and my shift will be over like midnight, and I wouldn't leave till like 1:30 in the morning sometimes because I had paperwork to do. I had to close the store up with the manager. I had to like drop money. You would pray that the money machine didn't break, because how many times have I had money get stuck in the machine? And I'm just like, wow, that's fun. And then I'm like, okay, I'll write it up, call it in. And then the machine will malfunction and start spitting money out like some kind of like crazy, like possessed ghost. So it was so many interesting things, but I think that's the longest shift I ever worked. Probably like 12 some days, 16 if I'm feeling risky.
Yeah. What's our next one?
What's your best memory of being a cast member?
Oh, that's great. That's a good question. I think actually one of my favorite memories. Well, I have two, but let's share just one. So my favorite memory was this thing called Dancing with Disney at Disney California Adventure. And it was really cool because all of the characters that you don't normally see were in this huge facility, and they all had their dance number that they would come out and dance, and they would dance amongst all of the kids and stuff like that. And it was like so fun. So like I remember like Captain Hook would come out with Smee for Crocodile Rock, and they'd like go around and like hang out with all the kids and dance to the songs. And it was that was like one of the shortest shifts you will ever work. So it was a very short shift, and you just show up for Dancing with Disney. The stepsisters would come out for a number. All of the characters you don't normally see. Lilo and Stitch. It was like one of the only places you could see Lilo and Stitch. And that was one of my favorite memories, I think, was working that event with so many amazing people.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like an amazing event. I didn't get to do that many like events like that because I was always at work. So that's why now it's like I'm trying all these new things like churros and Dole Whips. And I'm feeling like, I feel like a guest. But I would say my best memory is a family from the UK. And I tell you guys, I love all my guests. Every time they come to the resort, I love them all. But the UK guests were like so sweet to me. They stayed the longest. So I was able to build more of a relationship with the UK guests opposed to sometimes my American guests. But if they stayed a week, I love those guests too from America that stayed a week, because then they come back in, they talk to me, and you kind of get to know them more. But that experience was, a little girl came into the store and she had a severe case of eczema. So her skin was, if you don't know what eczema is, my sister has it. And it's just where it's a skin condition where your skin is like, has really dry, rough patches. And if it's severe, it can easily break and it can easily get affected. So my sister dealt with that her whole life. And so she was always like standoffish and shy. And I actually have it too. So I randomly get like eczema like right by my eyes. So sometimes like I will wear my like glasses because it would just break at the cracks and it'll be hard for me to even see. Just like it'll randomly like on your face. It's not something you can really control. It's just something you're born with. Some people have it worse than others. And it's extremely painful. It is painful if you have it like all over your body. So when the girl first came in, her mom was saying, "Oh yeah, her shoes, she broke her sandals." And it was their first day. So they were going to the parks and they were so excited. But she came in and I remember seeing her first because she was just dancing. And I'm like, who's this little girl just running around here with no shoes on dancing? And I remember she was like, "Hi, I love your dress." And she just kept dancing around me and she's telling me to dance. And I remember just talking to her and asking her like what her favorite park was. And I remember we did a no strings for it. So Tinkerbell saw her amazing dance moves and told me that she deserved to have some cool light up Crocs because she would make them light up and everyone in the park will love it. So ever since when I did that, her mom was like, "Oh my goodness, that was so sweet. You didn't have to do that." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. You know, Tinkerbell wants her to have it." I didn't really think nothing of it, but every day she would come in and look for me. That was the first guest who would always, every time she went to the park, she would always say, "I cannot wait to go back to Caribbean Beach because I want to see Serena." So she would like look for me. And that was the time where I was like, I would have one day off. I was always picking up shifts at work. So she would say, like, "Yesterday I came in and they told me you had the day off. I thought you lived here," because I would joke around and say, like, I basically live here. I live in a castle here. And I told her, I was like, "Oh, well, I had to go off. You know, it's okay, but I'm back." And I told her what days I was there. So she would literally come in for the next 2 weeks every day. She would bring me like little bitty Ghirardelli chocolates and like just place it on the counter if I was working. And she'll say, "That's for you." And then she'll say, "Have a great night." And she'll come in the morning if I worked. So ever since then, and I'm so mad that I lost her email. But since that, I kept in touch with them for the most part. And I remember her mom told me like how much of a fun experience she had and how she's now a model. She's modeling over in the UK. And she got like a deal and everything. So I have to look her up. But that was the most memorable experience because what I thought was a magical moment for her was actually a magical moment for me, because I would look forward to her coming in and telling me her stories and dancing and everything else. So that was my best memory. I had other memories too, but
yeah,
I think that one's the one that topped the cake because they would always come in. And I actually got to sit down with them and they told me so many amazing stories because they were actually chocolate makers back in their country.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were telling me all about chocolate. And you guys know I love chocolate. So I was like, this is amazing. And you never know who you meet. I've met people from like across the world and like they did so many amazing jobs. And you never know who you're meeting at Disney.
Yeah.
And experiencing. So let's see. Next question. We have so many questions. I'm trying to make sure I'm not putting up comments.
I'll try more concise with my answer because I can chat. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the sense. Da-da-da. Let's see. Question: what was your most magical moment you created? Oh, I just said it. I said it
Was that
though,
another one?
Mike. Yeah.
Okay. So we answered that.
Yeah, I basically answered it. Hold on. Here's one. Does working there leave you enough time to go to school? Would it be possible to work on a master's at the same time?
Ooh, I don't know about a master's.
It was extremely hard for me. I'm not gonna lie to you, Nicole. When I was doing my master's, I ended up stopping because I didn't like the school. I won't say the school, but I didn't like the school, and it can get stressful. It can get very, very stressful. Trying to do a master's and give 100%, because sometimes you have to stay late. Sometimes it's like no way around it. Sometimes they can say like, we have no one else. You have to stay late. And if you have like, it really depends on you.
Yeah.
If you stick strictly to just your 2 or 3 days, then yeah. Or if you, well, they don't do seasonal anymore right now. But if you are seasonal, then I would say yes. But if you're trying to be full time, it's going to be extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely hard. Oh, wait, we have another one. Jerry said, is it true that people who do petty theft from the stands or stores don't get approached or apprehended because they don't want to cause a scene and ruin the experience for the other guests?
I didn't work in the store, so I can't answer that.
Guys, I will say, we were told not to approach people. We do not like engage at all. Like if you see someone like taking things, you don't go up to them and say, I saw you, like I saw you stealing, like you going to jail.
I don't think
like,
you're allowed to do that legally.
No, you do not go up to them. Our procedure was you observe it, you get a description of the person. You have to be able to say like, this person had on a red shirt. This person, try to guesstimate how tall they were, what they look like. Just try to get as best of a description as possible. And then you immediately tell your manager, because then the manager has like procedures to go by to alert other stores and to alert the authorities that someone was shoplifting. Like we were never told to like approach people. I have like seen people like clear shelves and run out.
Mm-hmm.
Like people steal for sure, but no, we weren't like tackling people and trust like
I know like at my that. this isn't Disney related, but like it was actually a very smart approach. Like at my old store, we used to like, because I'm pretty sure legally you're not allowed to go up to someone and say you're stealing. So you would have to be like, hey, can I hold that at the register for you? So it's like implying like, I saw what you did, but I can't say what you did. Yeah.
We were able to say that. Like we would be able to say like, would you like a basket? Like that was one of the things, either like, hey, would you like for me to hold that at the front for you? Or, hey, would you like a basket? Because it seems like you have a lot of things and it's, you're having trouble holding it.
There's definitely a lot of ways around it though.
Anything for you not to say like, I saw you stealing. Like, no, that was like most definitely like something not. And we never walked up to our managers and said explicitly like, oh, that person's stealing. They have code words for you to tell your manager. Like you can tell your manager certain words and they would come out and say, oh, and they would talk further with the person. And sometimes you can like stall until, security comes and take care of that. Security and the police is who took care of like if someone was taking things. As cast members, no. Nope. We were not those people. I had one lady tell me, she came back in, she was like, my son accidentally took this keychain. Please do not tackle us. And he's over there crying because I told him Mickey Mouse is going to take him to Disney jail. And I was just like, please don't have your child cry. And I was like, please don't say that. I'm like, I had to tell him, like, it's okay. You returned it. You learned your lesson. Mickey is not going to do that. And she's like, yeah, because you're going to go to Disney jail. And I'm just like, this poor boy is crying his eyes out. And I'm like, these parents are just crazy. Prepper Boy says, as a guest, what can I do to improve my chances of a cast member working their what? Working their magic? What does that mean? You want free things? How could you, Prepper Boy? I feel like that's what you're asking for, Prepper Boy. You're asking for free stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of like everyone just kind of
it's really about the experience. So
yeah.
Look, some people don't care. Some some areas can like pass out magical moments like hotcakes. Not everyone can do that. And for me, I made sure it was the experience. Like, we're taught to make sure it's part of a story, a bigger picture, because it means more when you get something because of an experience, opposed to just saying, here's a free Mickey bar, or like, hi, you want a t-shirt? It's different if you were like, oh yeah, I ripped my shirt when I was at Disney, like I was on this ride, it got snagged.
It looks like he clarified. So he said not free stuff, how to be polite. So
so you're trying to make magic for a cast member.
That makes sense.
So, okay. I was like,
honestly, I feel like just asking how your day is goes
having a conversation
so far. Yeah, having a conversation. You'll notice that a lot of cast members, well, all of them, have like where they're from on their name tag. So like if you can tell they're from somewhere like nowhere near where you are, you can always ask about, because that could actually like really open up a beautiful story. Like, oh yeah, I'm from here. And so honestly, asking how they are goes a long way.
It really does. And it's fun. Like, it's fun to meet other people, because I would ask people too when I'm ringing them, like, where you're from. And they'll say like, I'm from Michigan too. And that way you can share those experiences you have. But if you ever want to make a magical moment, I've noticed a few people would like, for Valentine's Day, some of my friends got little Valentine's Day cards, like the little cute little kitty ones you get at school, like in elementary, where they'll say to so-and-so from so-and-so. So sometimes kids write Valentine's Day cards to cast members. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends got one that says to a superhero from like Juliet. So, and cast members like that, because my friend actually said, look what I got for Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. But little things like that, just having a conversation, writing like a little note that says, thank you for making magic. People cherish that, because sometimes you can be having a long day and you might be getting thrown with complaints or like solving problems, and you might feel drained. And you're like, geez, like, like, does anyone notice what I'm doing? Like, blah, blah, blah. People get down too, and they can't show it. So that little thing that you might think is insignificant can really boost someone's day. And that's how you can make magic, for sure. Let's see. What other comments we got? Oh no, you're dealing with snow.
I can go through mine that I got on because I didn't get a lot on mine from Instagram, so I can go through it really quick with that. Like,
let's go through some of your Instas.
Okay, so this is just like as quick as I can possibly kind of answer. But one of the assumptions was happy. Do you have to be happy all the time? I would say you have to be careful about like who you're around. So like moments when you might not be around a lead or, in front of a guest necessarily, you could probably, if you're having the feels that day and you're just feeling kind of down, you can maybe kind of just, not be so like, but I have to say for the most part, you have to kind of put on a smile and, I mean, but that just honestly, that goes with, it's not necessarily that Disney's forcing you. It's because you take pride in what you're doing, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you want to put on a smile, even though you might not be having the best day. Another one that I got was, can you go into the park whenever you want? And from what I remember, because again, I worked back in the day, you personally could go in whenever you wanted. But in terms of like you can sign people in, but you would only have a certain amount on how many people you could sign in. Um, Another one that I got is you have to know everything about Disney. You definitely you don't need to know everything about Disney, but you definitely need to know about your department. That's what I would say. Maybe Serena Ray would agree with me. Like you would have to know where another character, like if I was asked, where can I find Rapunzel? I'd have to know where Rapunzel is and what time she's coming out and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily need to know where I can find the limited edition Mickey Mouse jacket. Like I don't necessarily need to know
They were
that.
nicer at Disneyland then because woo.
Okay, yeah.
Because I used to get people who asked me about characters. Okay, for me, I'm like obsessed. So I would go to the parks on my days off. So I knew it. And that's why people would always look over to me because sometimes you would get that person who's like, "Hey, like how was the food here?" And you'll say like, "Oh, I've never been there." And they'll say, "How have you not been here? Like you should
Yeah.
know this." Like
Yeah.
you can get people like that. And
Mhm.
I understand when you see the name tag, you're just automatically like, they know everything about Disney. But the main thing we were trained on was our area. So
Mhm.
like, so Disney Daily was a character attendant. She would know everything about her characters and being an attendant, you know, and managing that. And for me, like, I would know everything about the resort area.
Mhm.
So sometimes you can get people like that, but you didn't have to know everything. It was just a plus to make your life easier if you knew like kind of like more stuff. But people used to like ask me about Etsy shirts and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is not like a Disney item. And they would
Yeah.
like argue sometimes like, but it has Disney on it. And I'm like, this is a small shop lady showing their love. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So you get people like that, but it's not a requirement to work there. Like, I've
Yeah.
never got in trouble for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone says, do cast members hug people?
I've
And
seen
what's the photo meeting procedure like?
um I've seen I've seen cast members hug guests before. I don't think there's anything like you can't. I don't remember at least. And what's the photo meeting procedure like? So that depends on where you are. So some characters have specific locations. So at Disneyland, it's called, I believe it was called Princess Fantasy Fair. And inside Princess Fantasy Fair, there's about three princesses and you wait outside to get in. It's very structured and organized, and everyone will get a chance to meet with the princesses. The Atmo characters, which means atmosphere, those are the characters that walk around. So some of them are supposed to be stationary, some of them are supposed to walk around. So, for example, a lot of the stationary ones are Mickey, Minnie, the like, you know,
Yeah.
your OGs, they have to kind of be in place. And what would happen is they would walk out, they'd go get their location where they want to go. And you would basically kind of set up a line. You have to form a line, make sure everyone kind of following, you know, okay, everyone's going to get a chance. Make sure everyone has their notebooks out because people like to have Disney autographs from the characters. Make sure you have your cameras ready to go because we want to see as many people as possible. And the other ones that roam around, that's the other type of Atmo character. They don't have to necessarily do anything. So, in terms of like, they're not obligated to take a picture with you. They're not obligated to, they're kind of doing whatever they want. Like, Peter Pan is a big Atmo. Alice is a big Atmo. And I'm speaking just for Disneyland. I don't know about Walt Disney World. Belle in her town dress. She's an Atmo and she'll kind of walk around. Sometimes she'll have the Beast with her. So those characters, like, it's kind of hard to get them to stop because they're not really supposed to stop, if that makes sense.
That is very interesting.
The characters is so interesting to me. Even like now, as I reflect on it, I'm like, yeah, there's so many elements and so many parts.
I did not know. Like, I didn't know any of that. I honestly didn't.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I could probably tell you like all if you name a character, I could tell you where they were and like what they were supposed to do and where you could possibly catch them, all that stuff.
That is like, I don't know if I could be a character attendant. It just sounds
It's
so
it's
hard.
it's a lot when you have to close the line. So when you close a line, that's when you know the character's got to go in. So you got to gauge the line, which is some of the hardest because you don't really know how there could be 5 people in line and they could take a solid 20 minutes to get through them. So you have to gauge it properly. And because the character relies on you to go have a break. So, yeah.
That is interesting. I'm trying to read through all the comments. See if it's any more. I'm going to read some of mine. Wait, let's read some of these comments we got.
I'm going to answer this one that I see pop up because it's in the character realm. Jaden said, are rare characters out randomly or just at special events? So a lot of rare characters are out randomly. So like I said, well, depends, I guess, what you mean rare. Like a lot of people would consider Peter Pan rare. A lot of people would consider Evil Queen rare, Wendy, Alice and the Mad Hatter, Mary Poppins and Bert. Those ones you can find every day, almost not every day, but almost every day wandering the park. Some are just for special events. So Jack and Sally, you will never see unless it's around Halloween time. And they are used for special events only too. So you really have to catch them in October.
That is nice to know.
Yeah.
I think that's like that at Walt Disney World.
I think you guys are the same. Yeah. I wouldn't see why not.
Because I don't remember seeing them any other time. I've only seen them during Halloween. And Judy Hops is for special occasions for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we don't have her roaming. She comes out during the Christmas party or like any party, really.
Interesting.
Let's see. Some of these I feel like we've already answered.
Oh, perfect.
This is okay. Wow, some of these are not even questions. So we already answered it. Someone had asked, it might ruin the magic because you see what goes on behind the scenes. We answered that one already for you guys. And that someone else said, does it get boring going to the parks since we work there?
Does it get boring? Ooh,
yeah.
That's a good question. It never gets boring for me. I don't know about Serena, but it never gets boring for me. I love it. Every time I'm in there, I love it.
It doesn't get boring. I like it. But again, I wasn't working in the parks. I was working at a resort. But even going to my home resort because I loved it so much, even on my days off, I would come in after the parks and say hi to everyone. And they're like, you're on your day off. It's okay. You don't have to come and see us. We understand. Go have fun. But it never got boring for me. Like, never. Oh, someone said in my thing, employees get free merch.
No.
So have you ever got free merchandise? Because
I never got free merchandise.
I would love to get free merchandise, but no.
I've never, yeah.
I think the only thing I've gotten free was things they had like overmade and no one bought it. And they would give it to us during like a Cassenber event. Like I can show you the Woody boot, you know, that they were putting the ice cream in.
Oh,
Woody's
yeah.
boot. Like at Walt Disney World, I don't think they sold that many of them. So they kind of gave them like spread them out between departments. And when we have like a holiday thing, they give it to us as like a gift. You can like pick things, but you don't get like whatever you want or free merchandise. You do get like discounts. You get 20%, and then holidays you get 50%.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
Because y'all got me questioning.
Yeah.
Someone said you get free food or unlimited tickets.
Nope, not on my end.
Not well. I would say we were able to get free food when it was like during special like openings. So when they redid the restaurant at Caribbean Beach, we were able to do a taste test. So we were given like a few menu items and they would make the items. We would taste it. Well, we'll eat it and then we will judge it. So I was able to taste a breakfast item as well as a like lunch item, and they had little laptops and tablets where you type in your like what you felt about the food. And other free food things would happen like at Cassenberg events. So I've never like just like got like so much free food.
Yeah.
No, but unlimited tickets. I like at Walt Disney World we have blockouts, so we can't go whenever we want, but we can go a lot of times throughout the year. But you have blockout dates. How many more you want to do?
Let's do like maybe three more. Yeah. We're coming up on an hour and a half, which is pretty much what we wanted to do. So that's perfect.
Okay, let's do.
Maybe from the chat.
Yeah, what was. Someone says, Sebastian said, what's your favorite thing to do at Walt Disney World? And for you, it's Disneyland.
Do you want to go first?
So my favorite thing to do at Walt Disney World is to go to Magic Kingdom. I would get a Peter Pan float, right? It's a Small World like 4 times, and then ride Big Thunder Mountain. That is like my perfect like chill day. And if some amazing merch comes out, I'm like the first person to get it. And I don't have to fight eBayers for it. So chef kiss, that is my day.
Yeah. My favorite day at Disneyland would include going to Disney California Adventure and going to the Pixar Pier and just strolling around. I love going on Incredicoaster. So going on Incredicoaster and then probably heading on down to Cars Land and and getting some like popcorn or something like that. That's kind of like a good day to me.
I'm jealous because I really want to go to Cars Land and get on a Incredicoaster.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Jealous. All right. Someone said, were you guys able to go to the Disney conventions for free and see the previews of the different lands?
That's a great question. I didn't work long enough to say whether or not.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to just pass it over.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember.
Conventions? No, we got a discount on like, I think it was like D23. We got a discount on the D23 membership and we can get like discounts sometimes. But I did get to see previews of the different lands. I got to do Galaxy's Edge preview where we were one of the first people to ride Smuggler's Run. I was able to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That's why you guys probably see sometimes on my thumbnail. I was holding tickets and people are like, where you get those tickets from? That was from a cast member preview. I was able to preview food at this restaurant. I also was able to do a holiday screening at Walt Disney World. So when they do the Christmas, like video at the end of the year and you see everyone at Walt Disney World and you see the singers singing and all that good stuff, those are actual cast members and their guests. So as a cast member, we were able to get one for us, and then you can get up to like a certain amount of people, I think 2 or 3, not quite sure. So you can actually bring guests and you can be part of the holiday filming. So you get different opportunities for sure when things come into town, like once in a while. But like conventions are sometimes heavily discounted. You can go to some conventions if you work them. So you can volunteer to work it and then you can stay later on. But those were like along the lines of things that I was able to experience at the cast member for previews, at least. which it was fun.
Okay. So we have one last question.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it good. Trying to make our last question like good.
I need more coffee.
I'm trying to see. Come on, guys. Last one. I'm gonna give this one to Disney Daily. Nisi said, "Are the character costumes insulated? They look hot." That's one I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. I also never actually went in them. So I can't really speak for them, like some of them might say yes, some of them might say no. From like my point of view, no, they didn't look very insulated. So yeah, a lot of characters would, specifically if they were going out, because it's always sunny in California, they would specifically look to go to a spot where they're in the shade. So you'll see that. Like if you see them, if you ever about Florida's weather, but Disneyland's always pretty hot. Not like, hot, but when you're inside something, definitely hot. So they will purposefully go out and search for a spot that's in the shade.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I always know too, like they don't want their costumes wet.
Yeah.
They don't want it wet either. So that is very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's why they get so many breaks too. Because I think it's every 20 minutes. So I don't
30 from what I remember, or it's actually 30 or 45 from what I remember. Yeah. So they're out for like 30 or 45 minutes, I believe I remember. And then it can go down from there though, because there's hot indexes. So they have like certain levels and tiers. So if it gets to a certain degree outside, they will be outside for less.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I guess I never really thought. That's the one thing. I've never really sat down and actually thought about the characters or like character attendant position. Yeah. I have a friend who does it, but I never like dug deep into thinking like, is it insulated? Like how many breaks? Like I just assume that they take a lot of breaks because, it has to be hot in it. Mm-hmm. But you never think about how much it goes into being that character.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. Wait, I'm getting more messages. Yeah, okay. Frequent breaks makes a lot more sense. Yes. Wow, you snuck into class late? The podcast is almost over, Doom. Oh my goodness. So sneaks into class late. Shh. But I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned like quite a bit about our roles because it was both so different, but so similar. So even though we're doing different things, like we still had to follow like the same rules. Mm-hmm. Leaving an hour ahead. You know, being nervous about clocking in late, walking millions of miles, going through the same kind of training. So all that is very like the same yet different. Mm-hmm. And I'm really happy about episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself.
I hope you guys, honestly, I really hope you learned something and you had a good time hanging out with us. I know it's like just a time where a lot of people are really lonely. I know I am. Yeah. So it's really fun to hang out with you guys online. And this is the first time I've ever been live. So
and she did such a great job.
But I've like wanted to hang out with you guys, like both Serena Ray's fans and both my fans, like we're all big one big happy Ohana, so I'm happy to have so many amazing people in this chat. You guys are so great. And I hope you guys had fun because we love talking Disney. And next week we are going to be talking about, since you guys are here, what are we talking about next week? We have it all planned out.
Yeah, it's the rides, the new stuff coming in 2021 and 2022. So rides lands everything that's coming to the parks that we are going to be talking
Yeah.
about. The movies too,
Yeah, all new
possibly.
stuff. So any of the
It's
new
everything new.
rides, yeah, like Raya and the Last Dragons, a new movie that's coming out. So we'll definitely try to touch on the new movies if we can as well.
Yes.
Um, then yeah,
It's really
I think
fun
that's it.
because we have so many things. Because you have things coming to Disneyland that I'm excited about, and we have things coming to Walt Disney World I'm excited about, like Tron, Guardians. And you told
Yeah.
me you did a cool video,
I did do
so
a
make sure
video on,
the
yeah, I did a
Guardians,
video on,
correct?
well, it was a little bit of everything. It was all the new rides specifically that were coming to the Disney parks.
I'm gonna put it
Um,
in the description
yeah, so
for
that'll
them.
like if you want to have like a little bit of a preview, you can definitely look at that beforehand. But we'll go in more depth. Um, yeah, and give our opinions like whether or not we think it's going to be good, bad. Yeah.
Honest opinions. I tell you guys, I'm honest. I'm not
Oh,
just gonna say
Avengers
I.
Campus. Yeah. So I'll
Yes,
definitely I actually did a whole entire video just
she
on
did.
Avengers Campus.
She
It's
did.
pretty I think it's not super lengthy. It was like maybe 5 minutes, but yeah. Yeah, there's a lot coming to that land for sure.
Guys, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. But before we even go, Sunrays in the chat, if you haven't already, make sure you are going to Disney Daily's channel, hitting that subscribe button.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
because we'll be on my channel next
we
week.
are going to be on her channel next week. So I'm going to put this right here. This is Disney Daily's channel because we are going to be in Disney Daily's castle next week. We're going to be there next week, guys. So don't be telling me you can't find where Disney Daily is, because she's on my homepage under people you should watch. It's so many things. It's no excuse. Oh, I pinned it. I also pinned the comment to the chat. So make sure you guys are clicking that. I pinned it to the chat. Oh, and then I somehow. Okay. Wait. There we go. I clicked on Jill's message and I freaked out because I was like, what? Why is it going to Instagram? That's not her page. But no, it's pinned to the chat. So make sure you guys are going to Disney Daily's channel, hitting that subscribe button, because episode 2 about everything new that's coming is going to be on her channel. Everything. So we are taking turns. So you'll go to her castle and then you'll come to my mess of a layer, because I have Pokemon everywhere in Disney, and it's like my brain, Pokemon Disney. But make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. I can't say it enough. And thank you guys for coming here with us. We had so much fun. I can't wait to see you
Yes,
guys
thank you
next
so
week
much.
and hang out. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow too. We're going to Magic Kingdom, waking up early. But have a great night to each and
Thank
every
you,
one of you.
everyone.
So bye, guys. I can't wait to see you. Episode 2. Bye.
Bye.